Hey everyone, another disturbing precedent being set, this time by the government of Nova Scotia. The Liberals in Nova Scotia. What is it with the Liberals? Damn! And that's the scary and sad aspect of this today is these people fly under the banner of a terminology that is supposedly, or supposed to be, if you know the history of liberalism or what classical liberalism represents and entails, was all about promoting individual liberty, both social and economic freedoms predominantly. They fly under that banner, but in reality, the majority of them are collectivists. And even in the Conservative Party, well, definitely the end dippers. So these people, like in Canada, out of the three big parties, they're all about collectivism, imposing their will or their iteration of their will through the use of force by the power of the state to impose their ideology on the people. And they're all collective ideologies. Like I say, they're all skirting around socialism, communism, fascism. It's their own reinvented model, of course. It's not the same as Hitler's fascism. It's not the same as Mussolini's fascism. It's not Stalinism. It's not Mao. It's not Leninism. Like I say, it's their own particular brand of collectivism. And collectivism, like I say, all you got to do is look it up, folks, but it's basically the pretense of sacrificing individuals for the concept of the greater good or the collective, which is just a representation of the group. And I mean, it sounds good in theory, but who is the group? Who represents a group? And who gets to be the ultimate decider and arbiter to decide that dictates or determines who should be sacrificed at the altar of the collective or the group? I mean, to think that this stuff was all supposed to be dealt with post-Enlightenment era, but, well, we're back at square one basically today, just a couple hundred years later, and now have to try to explain to the masses once again how important it is to respect the rights, the sovereignty, and the liberty of the individual. And it's not just the dumbed down masses, even politicians, even people on the Supreme Court of Canada, even people that are supposed to be well educated and informed, still prefer using force, theft, coercion, and sacrificing individual rights for their particular brand of collectivism. And this is just the most recent example. Headline out of CBC News, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia to become first in North America with presumed consent for organ donation. So that's the first time. This is historical precedent for North America, which was supposed to be predominantly the bastion of individual freedom and liberty. So this is a really, really big deal, folks, and not something to be taken lightly. Province will take 12 to 18 months after bill passes to prepare for changes. It's being reported by Michael Gorman, April 2nd, 2019. Cindy Ryan knows to the day how long it's been since her life changed thanks to an organ donation and what that change has allowed her to experience. My 50th birthday celebrated in hospital and a few more since, said the Westville, Nova Scotia resident. My daughter becoming vice principal, my son graduating from St. FX, my stepdaughter becoming a nurse, my grandson starting high school. My first date with the man who is now my husband, and our wedding, which gave me another son and granddaughter. The list goes on and on. In fact, it is 1,979 days long and counting. Ryan was on hand Tuesday as Nova Scotia Premier Stephen McNeil tabled legislation that will make the province the first jurisdiction in North America to have presumed consent for organ and tissue donation. People will be able to opt out of donating their organs, but the onus will be on them to do so once the bill is proclaimed. The bill would not apply to people younger than 19 or those who do not have the ability to consent for themselves. I mean, think about what that represents, folks. This is serious precedent-setting shit here. This is basically suggesting that the state now has a higher claim on your body than you do. And even if they say that, oh, you can opt out, this legislation still suggests that the government has a higher claim or authority over your body than you do. To deny that is to close your eyes and plug your ears and hum and pretend that you just don't want to hear anything that's remotely resembling truth or reason or logic. I mean, as it is right now, we already have people that are willing to donate their organs. That's why you have that option available to you. If you are one of those people that you want to donate your organs, then by all means go ahead and do so, if that is your choice. But obviously the default position should always be that I have priority and ultimate authority over my body and everything that's contained. If I'm going to be even remotely free at all in life or death, It has to mean that I at the very least have control over, even if you take away all my worldly possessions, at the very least, fuck, leave me with my goddamn control over my goddamn body. Yeah, you're damn right I'm pissed off. And if you're not, then what the fuck is wrong with you? And I don't want to hear these emotional based bullshit arguments. Oh, this poor lady, she might need... I mean, think of how many excuses. Hey, I'm poor. Oh man, I'm really poor. And I really fucking am, folks. I'm doing hard times here as far as financial aspects of my life. But you know what? I'm going to restrain myself from going out and fucking stealing from people or causing harm to people and taking their material possessions. Why? Because I'm a moral person. I mean, what kind of slippery slope is this? Now we should just use like emotions and the fact, oh, someone might die and say, well then, hey, well, we can't allow that person to succumb to death, so let's just steal organs from someone else's fucking body and call it a day. Anyways, what I found most disturbing, well, I mean, the article's pretty disturbing as it is. Like I say, this is precedent setting in all of North America. This has never happened in all of the history of North America. And it's something like, what the fuck is wrong with the people on the East Coast? My God, what is wrong with these authoritarian piece of shit? Well, I mean, there's lots of them spread all over Canada, but come on, seriously though? Anyways, like I say, as if that isn't disturbing enough, what disturbed me even more is the comments that I seen in the CBC article on the CBC News website. And I'm just going to read a few of them for you here now. First one, and I go by the most popular, because you have the option on CBC News to pick from, most popular, most recent, editors pick, all that. But I go by, well, what are the Canadian people? What do they consider most popular? What are most Canadians agreeing with as far as the comments on the website? Well, let's go to this first one. Anne Lacourte. I think as long as your organs are in good condition, they should be used to save lives. No use taking them with you. That's the most liked comment on this article, is someone saying, oh yeah, go ahead, take someone's organs against their permission. Because that's another thing too. If the government makes the default position that they get to take them, well, think about it. You're basically relying on other people to be way more personally responsible than they obviously are today to go out and make that extra step to say, no, you actually don't have that authority. That's my authority. You better give it back to me. We know how many Canadians will either overlook, forget, or are too busy in their lives, or maybe even don't even know about this article, that will go through their lives not even knowing that the government now has authority and control over your body once you're dead. Next comment by Cindy Fordyce. Good. Those who don't want their organs donated can opt out. Like I say, this is another Canadian that obviously doesn't give a shit about your individual liberty or your personal freedom. They're like, yeah, this is good news. Let's harvest those organs. Next one, Samuel Johnson. Finally, a smart decision from a North American government. So Samuel Johnson, once again, total agreement here. And we live in a democracy, so when the majority of people say, hey, we want your organs, whether you like it or not, well, you better get online, motherfucker, because we are the majority. Yet another person that's applauding and praising the government for claiming a higher authority over my body than myself. Next one, Joey Andrews. This is a fantastic idea that should be Canada-wide. Back in the day, I said our driver's license should have had a place to say no for donation. That way, if it wasn't signed, organs were free to be harvested. Finally, a wise move by government. So just basically a big, long run-on fucking no grammar, like unintelligent idiots. This is the thing. This is the thing about majority, folks, is you have the stupidest fucking people probably among us that are applauding and praising this because they don't know how to think critically about these issues. But that's what democracy represents, right? Give a bunch of idiots the ability to use the big gigantic gun in the room to impose their will, their mandates, and edicts on the rest of us. And those of us that are a representation of the minority, well, too fucking bad, right? That's what these people are basically suggesting, and they don't even really give a fuck, to be honest with you. I mean, think about the immorality of this. I mean, not just saying, oh, this might be good, nothing at all here so far, not even like someone that's like walking the line, like, I don't know how I feel about this. Not even anything of that. No nuance whatsoever. It's just, yes, this is great. Next one, Dennis Weicker. Don't see what all the excitement is about. One can opt out. I would hope if one opted out, then one could not get life-saving organs. So once again, Hey, you can always opt out. You can always ask your master, or you could tell your master that, no, I don't want you to take my organs, even though you have this pretense that you think you have some authority. Next. Never confuse the word politician with smart. Not only is this a recipe for a lawsuit, but blatantly unconstitutional. It's about time the federal government passes a law that makes it illegal for politicians to knowingly pass laws which are not legal. A mandatory minimal jail sentence for this kind of breach seems wholly appropriate. So the first out of all those comments, the first comment that shows any amount of pushback against this by Don McTavish, and look at this, folks, 28 thumbs up, 28 thumbs down. So for this person even daring to say basically what I would be saying, oh, you're getting just as much thumbs down as you are for people saying, yeah, you're right. Jeff Alexander, as the husband of a kidney transplant recipient, I wholeheartedly support this legislation. So once again, this person's saying, my personal choice to save my wife, oh, who cares if it's ethical or moral? Hey, as long as it helps save my wife, then let's forgo the morality, let's forgo ethics, because hey, it's beneficial for me and my wife. As much as, of course, I feel for these people, but once again, relying on donations, right? Voluntary donations. That's the way to do it. Getting the government to harvest organs of people that have never given you permission or expressed permission to do so. Next one. Dan Duran. Opting out of being a donor should come in a package with opting out of being a recipient. Let's see them pass that bill. Only one that makes sense, really. So if this person's saying if you opt out, then if you're ever in a position where you need an organ, donate to you. Even if someone actually volunteered it for you, well, I guess they're saying, well, hey, you didn't give it to someone else, so no, you shouldn't receive one. Even if that person that offered it to you was maybe, what, a family member or someone that actually was kind enough or compassionate enough to offer to donate. This is vengeance, all right? This is people saying, oh, if you don't fucking give me your shit, and if you don't allow the government to give me your shit, well, fuck you. I hope you die as a consequence. Think about this. This is the kind of people, like I say, folks, and this, of course, it's the kind of people that follow CBC, which is a representation of a lot of authoritarians and collectivists among us. Next one, Canadian Moxie. Many comments here are missing the salient point. The state owns you. If that's not scary enough for you, I don't know what is. 15 thumbs down. So 15 people said that, how dare you think that you should own yourself? Next one, Okra Vision. Bottom line, if you have a problem with organ donation, opt out. If you have a problem with CBC articles, opt out. If you don't like having engaging conversations with left-wingers and feminists, opt out. But that's the thing. When it comes to the state, see, this person is pretending that you could just opt out. When it comes to the state, well, I mean, this particular piece of legislation that they're just bringing to now, but like I say, who knows how long it's going to be before that goalpost gets moved even further? I mean, think about all the historical precedent of every time someone comes up with some benevolent piece of legislation, how much that gets moved towards it turns into an oppressive form of social or economic enslavement. But they're saying, hey, just opt out. Well, it's really hard to opt out of the gigantic gun room, that monopoly of force. If they choose to impose their will, their mandates and edicts on you, then there's not really any way to opt out of that, is there? I mean, think about what even this comment represents. This person's saying, listen, we own your fucking ass. Be thankful that we'll give you that option to opt out. Well, that's the thing, though. How are we to know that it's always going to remain that you have that option to opt out? Maybe at some point in time, they'll remove that option entirely because, as we see many times in many historical precedent in the past, where they'll just keep moving the goalposts. That's what fucking central planners, that's what authoritarians do. This person saying, oh, no, don't worry about that now. Feel guilty. Just succumb to it. Or, hey, opt out. Forget about the fact that the government is pretending that they own you and your body in life and now even in death. And just be thankful that you have that option today to opt out. I mean, this is another perfect representation of who the authoritarians are among us. Left-wingers and feminists. Next one, Evan Day. This is absolutely wonderful news. The system has been proven to work well and to increase donation rates. I bet, right? Yeah, and under Hitler, having those big gigantic gas chambers worked out to be really efficient at getting rid of Jews, right? So as long as it's all in the name of efficiency and getting those numbers up, well, this person supports that. Wow. Next one, Ross Colbert. This is long overdue. I hope the rest of Canada follows suit. Opt out if you don't want to. Those of us that do are getting sick of filling out the cards. A lot of people don't care one way or the other and don't fill out the cards, leaving needed organs to go to waste. So this person's like, this Ross, think about this. Oh, man, I got to fill out the card to donate my organs. Well, aren't you a caring and compassionate person? Isn't this the whole pretense that you care about people to save their fucking lives? But, oh, no, I got to fill out this card. That's way too much work. So rather than me doing that, no, let's just get government to flip the switch or flip the script and make it so Canadians have to choose to opt out. And we get automatic access to their organs. Holy fucking immorality. Reading these comments, I got to tell you, folks, and this does happen periodically, especially when I read comments on the CBC website, and I recognize just how many evil, vile, immoral authoritarians there are among us. Yeah, these are the days that I lose a lot of my hope and optimism for the future. Anyways, I think I've covered this enough. I'm already, like I say, I already knew a lot of these, but even just reading them again, it's like I say, it's devastating to know that there's this many Canadians out there who are more than willing to throw their fellow citizens under the bus for the state or for some pretense that, I don't know, I guess they think they're being compassionate somehow. These are people like, what kind of blind compassion is it when you say, oh, I just want to hope that I'm saving lives, but meanwhile, you're going against people's own sovereignty and their inalienable inherent rights to be free human beings and not be subjects of the state. Wow, folks. Anyways, I'll post a link to this article in the description of the video. But like I say, if Canadians, hey, if you're unwilling to start standing in defense of individual rights, freedom, and liberty, well, like I say, that goalpost is just, it's moving, and it's even the pace of how far they're moving, it seems to be ramped up at this point. And you know, if you wait till it's too late, if you wait till the goalpost is moved to the point where now they have full control and supposed authority over like basically every teeny aspect of your social and economic life. And like I say, we're pretty close to that point already. I mean, what do you got left to do then? Yeah? How are you going to stop that? How are you going to prevent it? How are you going to change course? Well, the only time in all of history that's ever happened is really massive civil conflicts or violent revolutions. It's just a bad choice to make when you could have been doing the right thing all along, showing that you were principled, moral, and ethical in your stance. Well, you could have prevented this stuff, but I guess you want to wait till we just all got to go head to head, and the streets have to be filled with blood and even more pain and misery. Because, once again, you're unwilling to hold yourself to any moral or ethical standard. What a fucking sad world we live in, folks. What a sad country. What a sad province. It's a Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.